Having sex can certainly increase the probability that you'll have a baby, but having a baby certainly does not increase the probability that you'll have sex.
There are not many things that hamper your sex life like a newborn. They take up an enormous amount of time and energy. And for me, there were some pretty big surprises in the way that my body changed throughout pregnancy and birth. And I can tell you, it is unlikely to ever be the same again.
If you're thinking that all things sexually and physically will go back to the way they were, they usually don't. Children of all ages are finding creative ways to interfere with their parents' sex life. We can't put sex aside while our children are young and pick it back up later. We adapt, we can get creative and hold fast to God's design.
Your needs and desire for sexual intimacy are just as important now and over the first few months of your baby's life as they were before and as they will be in the future. But your rhythm will change and your expectations may need to adapt for a while.
For me as a new dad, it felt difficult when Mel was focusing most of her attention towards our new baby. She had a great sense of responsibility and maybe some of her identity was wrapped up in now being a mum. To compare this with how our married life looked before we were parents, it felt a bit like the love between us was dwindling.
Contrary to what many women think, sex isn't just a biological drive for men. Many men experience sex as the primary way of connecting and communicating emotionally with their wives. For example, he may be thinking, we used to have sex twice, even 3 times a week. It's not as often now, but when we get back to having sex twice a week, then it will feel like our relationship is okay and I'll feel loved and needed.
It is not so much he needs sex so many times a week. What he continues to need is intimacy and to know he is deeply loved and not replaced by the baby.
As I said earlier, there are often changes physically that take women by surprise, and now she is asking, how do I still feel desired and attractive to my husband when things don't look and sit quite like they did? Once I get back into my jeans, it'll all be okay and I'll know that I'm attractive to him again.
But really she is needing to know how to feel attractive.
Regardless of how everything is sitting.
And even if he is being squirted in the eye by breast milk while he's trying to be intimate.
It helps to develop honest and open communication early on and bring a little humour into the bedroom. We all have deep needs. These might be for intimacy, for love, to feel that you are desired. With the arrival of baby, as a couple, you will need to renegotiate how to meet these needs.
While you're working through this change, the most important thing is to affirm that you love each other, continue to desire each other, and that your marriage is central to your family.
So what do we need to consider practically? You will need to be creative in order to meet the needs of either mum or dad, taking into account that there are times when the baby's needs will consume your time, and there may be health-related issues that mean mum needs time to heal without sex.
But what is right? What has God said is okay? I wonder if we sometimes believe the lie that sex is somewhat worldly and impure, and within marriage is only tolerated by God.
The Bible makes it pretty clear that at the beginning of all things, it was God who designed sexual intimacy to be a wonderful part of marriage.
In Scripture, we read that there is really only one rule, that sexual intimacy is between a husband and a wife within a marriage relationship. So as long as it is just the two of you, without other people or influences, and if you are both okay with it, you're good to go.
In your workbook, you will not find a list of any helpful pictures or suggestions, but we strongly encourage you to have an open dialogue about what is and what is not okay for you, what your expectations are, what your needs are, and what is it about your sexual intimacy that you value.
Then as a couple, you can figure out how you are going to meet these needs at this time. This will be a conversation that will need to continue with each new surprise that your body or your baby brings you.